Greetings and salutations, netizens. This is Wolfphototech, and here we are with another delightful unboxing review overview video. This time for Pathfinder 2nd Edition's Primal Tradition Spell Cards. This is the base set that's tied to the Core Rulebook. These are all the spells, Primal Tradition Spell Cards for Pathfinder 2nd Edition from the Core Rulebook. This is a delightful box with Laney on it. Everyone enjoys Laney. Beautiful green motif. It's 175 cards in this box. There's the basic information. It's a simple pull up, like power cube style. You can also happen to see right below I'm using the APG box as a stand. In this box, you can see that there's a huge ass deck, plus a spacer in here for filling out the box. So that way the cards don't bounce around in there. But you can also, because the box is bigger and there's a spacer in there, you can always take the cards from the APG or the Secrets of Magic set and add them into your tradition decks. First and foremost, you got, I have to flip it around, you got the introduction card, basically explaining the card set. And then on the back side, you happen to have the legal notice card. This is the card that's basically required with all OGL products. If you want to sell like OGL cards, you kind of have to include an OGL contract card, basically stipulating, yeah, this is basically a OGL product. You basically need to give credit where credit is due and share a copy of this every time. But you happen to have here Acid Splash, and you see the name up here. The little boxes right here are tags that key you in on various core mechanics. Like the first one is acid, and acid being acid, you know, is acidic, and different creatures have resistance to acid, and some creatures are weak to acid. Some creatures are immune to acid. Some creatures have special characteristics that proc off of acid. If they are struck with acid, they start dissolving, they lose their attack abilities, etc., etc., etc. It varies from everything. You know, if you hit a thing that absorbs fire and makes it stronger, and you use a fire spell on it, The next one over is the attack tag. The attack tag designates that this is attack action, and in being that you use an attack, it contributes to your map. Multiple attack penalty. Then you have the fact that it's a cantrip in a tag, as well as up here in the corner with the level you gain access to it at. And then you have evocation, which is obviously the school. So you have traditions and you have schools. You have the list of traditions in which you see the word tradition, which is actually listing all the other traditions in which this spell occurs in. You got casting, you got range, you got duration information, etc., etc. You got the basic operations of how the spell works. And then you have the level up mechanic. In the case of cantrips, they auto level as you increase in level and hit certain milestones. In the case of leveled spells, you had to prepare them or learn them at that higher level, depending on whether you are a prepared caster or a spontaneous caster. In the case of spontaneous casters, you have to learn a new version of that spell at a higher level in order to use it at a higher level. If you are a prepared caster, you can simply take that spell and set it in a higher spell slot and use it in as a higher spell. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is amazing because they have a beautiful range of spells and effects that you can use for a broad range of situations. Stabilize. You got Tanglefoot. Tanglefoot here, this spell right here is actually a fun little example of the range of critical effects, where if your character is to cast a spell and you get a critical success, which is a natural 20 or 10 greater than the DC, an extra effect is added or an enhanced. If you screw up and you roll 10 under or roll a natural 1, depending on the variants of rules you are using for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you get a critical failure and another thing happens. Also, in the case of cantrips, attack cantrips and such, or even some utility cantrips, there is an auto-leveling mechanic where as you level up, your spell gets stronger. In the case of, as I said, the level spells, you have to set them at that. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is a prep system. The term prep to me basically means that if you want to cast 2 fireballs in a day, you have to prepare 2 fireballs for that day. Otherwise, if you only prepare 1 fireball, you can only use it once, and you can only use it at that level for preparing it. You got Alarm, which is another utility spell, but also has a leveling mechanic tied to it. In the case, as I said before, leveled spells do not auto-level unless stated otherwise. Some of them do. As your character gains strength, some spells do auto-level. And some don't. Incidentally, whenever you see the +1, heightened +1, it's every level you gain. And so at the 2nd level, it gains a level of this. At the 3rd level of spell, you gain that again, and so forth. Now I want to show you a very nice feature with Pathfinder 2nd Edition spell cards. When you buy spell cards for various TTRPG systems, third party or official, sometimes when reading the card or pulling it out, you'll notice that sometimes they will only go down one side of the card. And the back side of the card is essentially just artwork. Where in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you'll have spell cards like this, where it continues down. You have the basic standard setup on the card. It goes down and then it continues here and continued on backside. And you flip it around and you have the rest of the information on the backside. You got the critical success, failure, critical failure, and the heightening mechanic down here as well. So there you go. I do say I really like these cards. They're actually quite nice. And the fact that they're well made, they're cleanly outlined, everything reads super smoothly, and I love the fact that the cards go to, on the case of spells that are being really long, such as this one, they go to the back side as well. So Wall of Wind, all the way to the bottom, it tells you go to backside. You go to backside, there's the rest of the information. So many cards, as I said before, just say go to page blah blah blah, player's handbook. Go to page blah blah blah, core rulebook. And that kind of defeats the point of having the spell cards, because now you have to flip to a book page to find out more on your spell. Moon Frenzy. I really do like the fact that Pathfinder 2nd Edition has so many cool names for spells and a broad range of options for spell casting. And yet it also does not take away the value of martial classes, or has to turn them into spellcasters to make them relevant to the system. Which some people actually kind of find or dislike about Pathfinder 2nd Edition is that the spellcasters don't eventually outpower the marshals eventually. The marshals actually keep up with the spellcasters, which is a stupid... To me, it's a stupid reason to hate marshals and Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The fact that Paizo actually figured out a good way to have martial classes actually keep up with spellcasters. And people complain, spellcasters are nerfed in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. No, they're not. Marshals basically are limited to attacking like dexterity or constitution or strength or brain fart. You're limited to the basic saves like willpower, reflex, and such forth. I had a brain in short out for a moment there. Or you attack AC. In Pathfinder, with spellcasters, you can attack not just those, but you can also attack various other characters on a broad other range of stuff. And you also have the capability to throw down fire effects. You have splash damage. You have lingering damage that it trickles on and so forth, like bleed damage. It's so nice. In order to be a really good spellcaster player, you have to learn the spells, learn the situations. You have to use your recall knowledge on the monsters to get your bonuses, and then you splash the suckers with the right element. Or if you figure out that the creature has a weak reflex save, you hit them in the reflex. You find out they have a weak AC, you attack them in the AC. If you find out that they are weak to acid, you hit them with acid. It's just that simple. Thank you very much for watching this video. I would definitely give this deck a 4-star. If you play Pathfinder 2nd Edition, buy these decks, okay? There is going to be a link for a bundle on Amazon, or you could go to Paizo's official website and buy them directly from there. There's also happens to be the individual deck if you only want to buy the individual deck. Link in the description. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe and tell me why you like my videos in the comments below. Apparently some people think my voice is horrifyingly terrible and absolutely cringe to the max. But it's the voice I have, unless I do character voices through all my videos. I don't want to do that, seriously. I kind of just want to be me, and I would just want to just say the things I need to say. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, as I said before, and see you next time. Ciao.